Oh, what's going on, guys? HK Titan here with another balloons video. And first things first, as always, I hope you guys are having an amazing day. So in today's video, we're going to be jumping back into our Balloons Tower Defense 6 walkthrough slash playthrough slash guide, whatever you guys want to call it. But for today's walkthrough, we're going to be jumping on Monkey Meadow half cache mode. So we will not be using our monkey knowledge, and we will be using the hero Quincy. So with this challenge, I've spent a lot of time trying to come up with a strategy that works for half cache mode, simply because half cache mode is a rough one to work with, especially with no monkey knowledge. So I strongly recommend, if you guys have any monkey knowledge whatsoever unlocked, turn it on and then use this strategy along with it. I promise you it'll work better than it works for me. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to start with is we're going to start with a dart monkey. Now with this dart monkey, we're not going to be upgrading it or anything like that, because we're going to end up going for 3 dart monkeys. Now what this means is that we are going to eat a couple of lives right here on this round, but no big deal, because we need to get a second dart monkey on the field as soon as possible. Because if we were just to upgrade to quick shots or sharp shots, it just wouldn't work out as well as 2 dart monkeys, and we're actually going to end up getting 3 dart monkeys before we start saving up for our hero Quincy. Alright, so we should be able to afford Quincy here in just a few more rounds. So now we have our 3 dart monkeys on the field, so this will sustain us up until the point where we can actually get Quincy on the field. So when you're following along with this strategy and stuff, try to do your best to get the towers placed as close to where I have them as you possibly can. And there's a reasoning behind all of the different placement and stuff like that, especially when I get into placing my ninja monkey and stuff like that. If you do not have the placement I have for the ninja monkey, you may end up losing a few more lives than you want to, especially in the early rounds and when we're dealing with the Moab balloon. So I'll be sure to explain to you and show you precisely where I'm going to be placing the towers. So when it gets to that point, make sure you slow your game down in order to get the correct placement. Alright, so now we should be able to afford Quincy this round, and then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you guys where we're going to place him. Alright, so now that we can afford Quincy, we're going to be placing Quincy right about here. Now the reason we're placing him here is because when he does level up and stuff, he's actually going to get increased radius, so he's going to be able to hit balloons as they round this corner, and he's also going to have a little bit more time to hit the balloons as they circle around here, and that's going to help out a lot with like the Moab balloons and the heavy ceramic rounds. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and save up to buy our ninja monkey. Now the biggest thing that I have to say to you guys, if you do not get this challenge on the first try, try not to get frustrated and stuff like that, because this is probably more difficult than chimps in my eyes. Because with chimps mode, at least you're making decent money and stuff like that, but with half cache mode, you're making no money whatsoever, and you need to have a strategy to where you can actually beat the Moab balloons and stuff like that, so it gets really difficult at points. Alright, so with the ninja monkey, we upgraded to sharp shurikens and seeking shurikens. And if you notice where I placed him, when we upgraded to sharp shurikens, we were now able to hit balloons as they round this final corner here, which is going to come in clutch in the later rounds. Alright, well, not the later rounds, the like mid-game rounds, because our ninja monkey, especially with seeking shurikens, and when we upgrade him to balloon jitsu, he's going to be able to do a lot of work as well. Alright, so now we're on round 26. As soon as we get done with this round, we're going to go ahead and sell our dart monkeys. We're actually going to start selling them right now, because we need to go ahead and grab ourselves an alchemist. Now the reason we're grabbing this alchemist, of course, we're going to have lead balloons coming here shortly, and we need to have an alchemist in order to pop those lead balloons. So this is going to be quite an easy round. If the balloons get a little bit too much for you to handle, feel free to pop Quincy's ability, but we shouldn't need it until round 40. Now I do have a select few rounds where we definitely are going to need Quincy's abilities. The first one of course being round 40, and then the next round that we're definitely going to need his ability is round 63 after that. Now 63 is a little bit of a hit or miss because it's all dependent on our fire monkey if we're actually able to pop the massive groups of ceramic balloons, and then it's also dependent on how well our ice monkey is going to do at actually freezing these ceramic balloons as well. Alright, so we're doing extremely well so far. The next thing that we're saving up for is we are going to save up for Balloon Jitsu, and then we're going to upgrade our Alchemist to larger potions and acidic mixture dip. Alright, so if your Ninja Monkey isn't within range of your Alchemist, it's perfectly fine, no big deal. We're actually not going to be going for a Alchemist that's going to end up buffing our towers too much. We're actually going to be going for a center tiered Alchemist, and that's to make sure that we're able to deal with all of the different Moab balloons, because of course the center tiered Alchemist has unstable concoction that when we pop a Moab balloon it actually explodes. Alright, so of course we're doing pretty well so far. We're not struggling whatsoever just yet, but that can change in an instant, so make sure that you're always keeping an eye on the balloons to make sure that if you need to use Quincy's ability, you can use it. Now the one thing I will say with Quincy's ability is that we definitely need it on round 40, so make sure that you have it off of cooldown by then. But up until then, it really doesn't matter too much if you use it or not, but the biggest thing is that we definitely need it for round 40. Alright, so now we can go ahead and grab larger potions, stronger acid, and then we're going to grab the acidic mixture dip and perishing potions as well. Alright, perfect. Everything is going very well so far. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and activate Quincy's ability right now. And there's a reason why we wait so long to activate his ability, and it's because from here to here, you really don't get too much of an effect from Quincy's ability. But when he drops down here, you actually have a longer time that Quincy's actually able to use his ability, opposed going left to right. So that's why we went ahead and waited just a little bit before we activated his ability. So if you activate it as soon as he shows up on this, or as soon as the Moab balloon gets in his range, then unfortunately you're going to have a few balloons that slip through. Yes, I've tried it both ways, and that's the only way that I actually got this strategy to work, is I waited until the Moab balloon crossed this corner here. So this is what I'm talking about with like the RNG of this strategy that I use, is because we are going to be working with the center tiered wizard monkey. Now this is where things get a little bit sketchy, because yes, this is an extremely good tower, but at the same time it's extremely frustrating as well, because it's all dependent on where we actually place down the wall of fire is going to depend on how many balloons we actually pop. So if we have balloons that make it to the wall of fire and then the wizard monkey places his wall of fire up here, then unfortunately we're missing out on a lot of balloons that could have potentially been popped. But there we go. Now we went ahead and bought Dragon's Breath. We are setting extremely good right now. Like this Dragon's Breath with this strategy right now should be able to carry us for quite a few rounds. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and purchase ourselves an Ice Monkey. If we can get this placement right there, perfect. And we're going to be upgrading to Arctic Wind. Now, yes, it is extremely important that we get our Arctic Wind, and in these later rounds we're actually going to be going a little bit above that. And that's just to make sure that we're able to stun lock a lot of these ceramic rounds. Alright, so we should be able to afford our Arctic Wind here in just 1 second. Perfect. Now we're going to be able to do a lot more damage, and we'll have a lot more time to pop a lot of these balloons. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and drop down a tack shooter right here, and we're going to be upgrading him all the way to overdrive. apologize, I got a little bit of the sniffles, but now that we have all of this going, we have our strategy in the works. Now we can start taking a little bit of a breather for the next few rounds. But again, if things get a little bit too much for your towers to handle, you do have Quincy's ability. Alright, so everything's going pretty well so far. Again, the reason why we have this tack shooter up here is to start inflicting a little bit of damage to the Moab balloons. Now again, we really shouldn't need Quincy's ability just yet, but again, stranger things have happened, so make sure that we're definitely paying attention if we need to activate his ability. Alright, perfect, perfect, perfect. Everything's going great. So, alright, so these are the rounds that we need to be careful of, because we're only going to have 3 towers that are going to be able to actually fully affect the camo balloons. So that's where Quincy's abilities would definitely come into play. Alright, perfect. Again, we shouldn't need Quincy's ability for until round 63 now. Alright, so again, we're going to go ahead and drop down another tack shooter down here at the bottom. And this tack shooter is basically going to help clean up the spam, so he's going to assist our wizard monkey in dealing with whatever's left that this tack shooter up here couldn't pop. Alright, perfect, perfect. We're able to deal with all of those camo lead balloons with ease, so no worries there. Alright, so now we have this BFB. We're going to go ahead and wait to see how far it makes it before we actually pop Quincy's ability. And we didn't need it. Perfect. So that means we're definitely going to have Quincy's ability off of cooldown for round 63. Possibly. If we need to use it on this round, we will. Again, this is half cash mode, and especially since we're dealing with the RNG of the wizard monkey, anything is possible. Alright, perfect. Let's go ahead. We should be able to afford another overdrive here in just 1 second, hopefully before round 63. Because if we can afford it before round 63, perfect. Alright, so now we're going to pay attention to how far these balloons are getting. So our ice monkey's doing a great job in freezing all of these ceramic balloons. Alright, perfect. So we're not going to need Quincy's ability just yet. Alright, definitely paying attention to see how far these balloons make it. Perfect. We actually did not need Quincy's ability, and that's because of our ice monkey right here. Alright, so again, we're going to make sure that we're paying attention to make sure that nothing slips through. Alright, perfect. Now we have a lot of breathing room now that we have these tack shooters on the field. The next thing that we're going to be going for is we're going to be going for the unstable concoction. And that's because we're going to start getting a lot bigger rushes of Moab balloons and BFBs, and we want to make sure that we're able to do a lot of damage, especially when we get the big clusters of them like we're getting right now. So we should be able to afford unstable concoction here in just 1 second. If we need Quincy's ability, we're going to go ahead and activate it. Now we did lose a life there, but thank goodness for Quincy's ability, we were able to deal with the problem with least amount of lives lost as possible. Alright, perfect. So now what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be going for another tack shooter as well. So we're going to be placing this tack shooter right here, upgrading it to even more tacks, and then of course we're going to be going for the tack, or the overdrive tack shooter as well. So I would have liked to place it right there, but having our alchemist able to affect the Moab balloons a little bit earlier on in the round is a little bit more worth it than if we were to place the tack shooter there and have our alchemist over here next to these guys. So that's a little bit of a personal choice. Now this is how I actually get this strategy to work, so I'm going to be sticking with it, and if you guys want to follow along, I strongly recommending doing it the way that I'm doing it. Alright, so our towers are doing a great job in dealing with these balloons. but we should be slowing it down a little bit. Round 75 is coming up, and that's a round that we really need to pay attention to. So round 75, we're going to get quite a few clusters of balloons, and of course we want to make sure that we're paying attention here, because this is another one of those massive clusters of balloons that we want to make sure that we don't accidentally let a couple of balloons slip through, especially when we have both of Quincy's abilities off of cooldown. Alright, perfect. So we can go ahead and speed this round up here. We shouldn't have any issues in dealing with these guys. Alright, so our taxi shooter is going to go ahead and do a lot of work to the BFB, and of course, perfect. So we should be able to afford the other overdrive here in just 1 second. Of course, it's going to make popping a lot of these balloons a lot easier, especially when we're talking about the Moab balloons. Alright, perfect. Again, we were able to deal with those guys, no problem. Now this is the round that we want to take a little bit slow, because we're going to get quite a few rushes of ceramic balloons, and we don't want to lose track of where those ceramic balloons actually make it. So of course we're definitely going to take this round a little bit slower. I think it's round 73. It might be round 74. If it's round 74, yep, it's round 74 that we need to take slow. Alright. So here we go. We're paying attention. We're definitely going to be paying attention to where these ceramic balloons are going to be making it, because of course I think we're going to get a massive rush of ceramic balloons here in just 1 second, and we want to activate Quincy's ability as soon as we can. Alright, perfect. Now you guys don't have to take it this slow. This is just the way that I'm doing it, because of course I want to make sure that we don't let any balloons slip through, and we don't want to let or activate Quincy's ability too soon, because then we won't have it off of cooldown. Alright, perfect. Alright, so we did not need it for that round. So that's another one of the rounds where the Wizard Monkey's Wall of Fire comes into play as well. So it's very important that you're paying attention to how many balloons his Wall of Fire is actually popping, and if the Wall of Fire is being effective. Alright, so the next round that we're going to need to pay attention to is round 75. Alright, so we can go ahead and speed things up a little bit. Round 75 is going to be another one of those rounds that we want to take a little bit slower. So I do apologize, this is going to make the video a little bit longer, but if you're playing along and stuff like that, I want to make sure that you guys are able to follow along as best as possible. Alright, so we do have $2,400, almost $2,500 in the bank, so we can go ahead and start working on spending that here in just 1 second. But I want to make sure that we're paying attention to these balloons. Alright, perfect. So now we have a little bit of breathing room. We can go ahead and drop ourselves down a Monkey Ace. Now we're going to be upgrading it to the top tier. Alright, so we shouldn't have to worry too much about these balloons. Of course, the only issues that we're going to have is with the Moab balloons. We let one balloon slip through there. I didn't think it was going to be worth the... Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and activate Quincy's ability right there. We did not want to eat that many lives. If it's like one balloon or two balloon, this is definitely one that we're going to need to go ahead and activate Quincy's ability on. And now we want to make sure that we're definitely paying attention, because this is when things are going to get a little bit hairy, guys. Alright, so thank goodness for our ice monkey here. He did a excellent job in freezing those balloons, so now we can go ahead and speed things up. And the next round that we're going to need to pay again close attention to is round 78, because that's when we're going to get a massive rush of ceramic regrow balloons. So I do apologize if I'm playing it a little bit slow for you guys, but I want you guys to see when I'm using my abilities. That way you guys can follow along and you guys have the best chance of successfully beating this challenge. So we shouldn't need to use Quincy's ability. Now if we do need to, we have it off of cooldown. Let's go ahead and pop his first ability here. That way we know we won't lose too many lives. We did eat a couple of lives here, but that's not too big a deal. Again, it's just when we have massive rushes of balloons. Like if there was a ceramic balloon there, we definitely would have had to activate Quincy's ability. So this is the round when we should get a massive rush. Yep, so here's the first one. Alright, thank goodness our Ice Monkey was able to freeze a majority of those ceramic balloons. Alright, so we're holding off pretty well. Again, we want to make sure that we have Quincy's abilities off of cooldown just in case we need them. So we're going to take our time when we're actually activating his abilities here. Alright, so we didn't need it just yet, so we're not gonna use it unless we need it, especially since we have one of his cooldowns that aren't up yet. But now it's just getting up just as I said that, so no big deal. Alright, so perfect. Go ahead and speed things up just a little bit. Alright, so we should be able to afford to upgrade our Monkey Ace here in just a second. We're going to upgrade him to Operation Dartstorm. And then we should be good for the Oh My God that's coming at round 80. Alright, so here's that rush. Bam. This is the rush that we needed to save Quincy's ability for. Because if we did not have Quincy's ability off of cooldown for that rush, we would have just lost. So that's the end of round 78 when we get that rush, guys. So make sure that you're paying attention for that specific round. And now because we should have Quincy's ability off of cooldown before the round or the start of round 80, I went ahead and used his ability there. So now we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna grab a tower that's going to help us out in popping the Moab balloon. And that, of course, is going to be a bomb shooter. So, okay, so we're doing pretty well so far. Our dual attack shooters in the back here are doing a great job in dealing with all of the remaining spam from all of these balloons. And, of course, we do have the Sky Shredder as well. And we are going to be taking these last two rounds extremely slow because we want to make sure that we don't let any balloons slip through. Alright, perfect. Again, our attack shooters are doing an amazing job in popping all of these balloons, and we should be able to go ahead and speed things up just a little bit. All right, so perfect. Our Ice Monkey did a great job in freezing those balloons there. Awesome. So now we've officially beaten round 79. So here we go, guys. This is the moment of truth. So we're going to go ahead and activate Quincy's ability right now. Perfect. Now we're going to wait to use Quincy's Aerostorm until we get the BFB's droid, because the Aerostorm is going to do a great job in popping the blue Moab balloons. So let's go ahead and activate it right now. And that's it, guys. That is officially how you beat half cash mode on Monkey Meadow. If you guys enjoyed, please feel free to drop a like, and if you have not yet to subscribe, please feel free to subscribe as well. And of course, make sure you guys smack that like button, because I spent a lot of time trying to come up with this strategy. I think in the past week and a half, I've probably invested close to 20 hours in trying to come up with this strategy, because I wanted a strategy that would work for you guys and had the highest % chance of working. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for the video. And as always, I hope you guys have the most amazing day of your lives. And I will see you guys in the next one.